Welcome to Backyards and Bevvies. Grab your favorite bevy, pull up a chair, and enjoy the ride. All right, hey, welcome to Backyards and Bevvies today. This is my guest, Nate Sonnenberg. He is a person that I met out on the road. It was fun times with him. He is from Colorado, California. No, Nate is one of my close touring friends. We went around the world. We traveled. He now does some other stuff, which we'll find out today. But Nate Sonnenberg, folks, let's give him a big round of applause. Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Nate? So, Backyards and Bevvies, dude. I know you've been to my backyard before, but it's green still, thank God.
Dude, this is a beautiful backyard. You are so lucky.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're not far from the city, so, we are very, very blessed in the sense that, we get all the nature, but yeah, we can be downtown. And
who mows the yard?
My neighbors.
Yeah,
I still don't have a place to hide my lawnmower when I do eventually buy one. We need to expand some stuff.
Dude, I gotta say, that's one of my favorite parts of the day. Getting out there and just mowing the dang yard.
Right. Well, I mean, that honestly, though, that was always my thing, though, coming back from the road. It was like, man, I really want to get a lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for that whole thing. I used to watch my dad mow the lawn. He'd go out there, he would weed whack, he would do all the things. I would be asleep. I didn't want to be a part of that. Then I didn't want to be a part of it. And I always was questioning, like, what does this old man see in the yard? Like, what is it? I hit 30, and all of a sudden, it was like, whoa, I think I need some grass. And not that kind of grass, but, like, I was like, oh, I kind of want to mow a lawn. Didn't own a house. We were traveling, 300 days a year or something like that? I mean, so now this place, I've been here for about 4 years. I don't even know, maybe 5 years? No, 4 years. I don't know, whatever.
You're still liking it here?
I love it out here. I love it. It's quiet. Every once in a while we get a plane, some helicopters, whatever. There's stuff that's up the road that I stray away from. But overall, I have to say that having this much yard is going to be fun one day.
Yeah.
Like, I still haven't figured it out, but I think once I get that lawn,
Go food-scape, man.
My neighbors, they try across the street. They have like a whole farm situation. They have tractors and corn, and they have Oh, yeah, they're raising cattle right now.
Well, the crazy thing about some plants is you can plant them together, and they'll play off each other, and it's like a symbiosis thing where you really don't have to do as much as people really think to get what you need out of the land.
Yeah, and you don't need that much space either, right?
No. I mean, they plot it out like a 1/4 acre. You can feed a family, and you have a little bit more than that.
I think I do. Yeah. And I don't need a tractor, right?
No.
Yeah, it's just by hand, right?
I mean, you can do anything by hand. It's how much effort you want to put into it at that point, though.
I used to be really bougie.
Oh yeah.
You knew this. You knew this about me. I think I that's all I ever wanted was to be that bougie guy on tour with the belt and the wallet and drinking the champs and all that fun stuff. It's really hard to get me to leave the house now.
Yeah.
So the more and more I'm here, the more and more, I'm like, okay, it's time to do those things that I've always never wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something I think about being home because I was never that way growing up. So
it's so different too, coming off the road and being home again, and kind of coming back to your roots almost. Man, it's been amazing having evenings, or days that I can take off. It's like this is a foreign concept to me. The last 5 years, it's been like, no, you're sick. Well, tough luck.
Keep going.
Go load in.
What? Oh, you want a sick day? What's that?
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of people, though, in general, have to say their mental health is the one health and mental health post-pandemic, going back to touring, has probably been the one thing I've heard from all my friends the most.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that I think have walked away from touring, like for instance, let's go back a step. Let's catch everybody up, right? We're sitting in this beautiful backyard, right? You and me live in the same city now. Life is different from us like 3-4 years ago, like you said, like completely different, right?
So different.
So, all right, March 2020, you were here or were you on tour?
Let's see, that was just after that big tour. So I just moved here. And that was when we were about to start up FGL, right?
Yeah, so have you bought a house yet? Had you bought the house yet?
No, I have
okay.
not bought the house yet.
Okay, so March 2020, yeah, because I had flown back from Australia. The tornado hit like 2 days after I had flown back here.
Mm-hmm.
So you were home, looking for a tour. You needed the tour probably. That's the other crazy part. Is I always felt like I needed the tour.
Well, the thing was, like, we did that 1.5 years together, right? And I was living in Pennsylvania still.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I was just never there. And lived next to a sewage treatment plant.
Fun.
Oh yeah, real prime real estate.
Smelled great, right?
Oh,
it already smells beautiful up there because of all the manure in the soil.
The pig farms, dude.
Oh, they're pig farms. Oh.
Those are rough. They're levels, tiers of poop smell. Some are all right in the realm of poop smells.
Yeah.
Some are not. Pig smells, it's way down the bottom.
So you're living in Little Town, Lidditz, Pennsylvania, because this is where the company that we worked for, that's their headquarters. That's where they have most of their stuff, right? So you live there to be closer to the touring environment.
Be at the mothership.
Yeah, of course.
Which I'm glad I did, because it gave me a lot of insight to the company and just the whole touring industry in general.
Yeah, and you're closer. Yeah. So they see you, you're like, cool, you hop on this tour, you're like, awesome, I'm out.
But single dude, out in Amish country. I was like, I can't do this.
You can only find that kind of fun during Romspringer. So right. I think that you're limited to your fun with that.
I'll never forget this day, though. We were up, I believe we were changing an amp up on the grid, together. We were like, hey, man, I think I'm going back to FGL next year.
Yeah.
You wanna come move to Nashville and come out with me?
So that was the kicker.
That sparked it. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I do remember being up there, and I probably was gazing out into the arena from 65 feet in the air, just like,
look at how cool we are. We're changing up here.
I'm up here again, doing my favorite thing in the world. So, okay, all right. You're
yelling at Leno.
You're out of
copy, paste, replace.
Yeah. Yeah. So trying to give computer things from a radio. Yeah, that was definitely not the highlight of my life. Okay, so you're in Little Town Lidditz. You're like, you know what? I've seen a lot of the world. I'm gonna try this whole country touring stuff. I'm gonna think about moving. I'm gonna move to Tennessee. I'm gonna do it. I think this is gonna be my move. And
that kind of changed my life completely, because then at that point I met Juan.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
And Juan Gomez, you know him from
a
long time ago. Yeah. And he, when all this pandemic stuff happened, he really helped me like get through it all, really, and gave me a job property managing and stuff, and that kind of sparked my love of like gardening and food, and and then meeting Jamie and like that whole, I don't know, from then it just has exploded.
Yeah. Well, because growing up in Colorado, I mean, it's a little bit different than growing up in like let's say West Palm Beach, Florida. You're surrounded by a little more nature, like both beautiful places in their own way. I mean, you can find beauty anywhere, but so the nature part was always in your blood then. So you're kind of itching to like, all right.
It is funny though, because like Colorado's more mountains.
Yeah, true.
And like it's much higher elevation, So
is it the Rockies? It's flat there, right? It's not flat.
It's not flat. It's really hard to grow plants because it doesn't rain a whole lot there. It's like pretty arid.
And elevation.
When I came here, it was like you can grow almost anything here. like short of like bananas and coconuts
Okay.
and everything else.
You want coconuts?
You know, not really.
I feel like that's a dangerous.
Bananas I could see, but you know,
coconuts seem dangerous, right? Falling from trees.
Yeah, isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
But don't they
kill
say
you.
that sharks bite more people than people get hit on the head with coconuts?
Statistics these days can change by you just going on Wikipedia and typing something in. I think.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't believe that, but sure, yeah, sharks.
Well, I'm not having coconuts anyway, so we're good. Or sharks.
Did you? Okay, so we are in a backyard. It's green. The sun is shining. You like my new umbrella?
That's
by the way?
really nice.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I
It
didn't.
is needed for this because
It's
it's not
not
a little hot.
New, but it's new to my life.
What happened to the hammock out here? There was a hammock.
I threw that away. So, okay, a real thing living out here. I don't know how many people suffer from this in the city, but the sap falls from trees like rain.
Oh yeah.
I have to wash my car daily almost to keep the sap from not just getting on it. These trees are wild.
What kind of trees are these?
Trees gone wild. I don't know.
Sap trees.
Yeah, they are the highest producing sap trees I've ever seen, and it's little dots too, like just these little.
Get a bucket. Make some syrup.
I don't think it's that kind of fun syrup.
No.
It's not for pancake. I don't like pancakes anyways, so I don't think that you'd want that one. But okay, so did you grow what's in here? We'll get back to you and the land here in a second.
This is a long story. We gotta show it to you, and then I'll tell you the story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here I'm gonna pop it open. You can keep talking for a second.
All right. Well, so this is one of every time I see this, I think of you.
By the way, your ad can go right here, just in case I don't have an advertiser by now.
Sunny Mountain Farms. That's gonna be my homestead. I'm starting a pottery studio.
Oh, okay.
We'll probably talk about that some more, but that's all going to be part of this Sunny Mountain Farms thing. That I haven't. It's all in the works.
All
We
right.
got big plans. But
So every time you see this, it reminds you of me.
From one specific night.
Oh, jeez. Where?
I
Just
was
say
out-
the name of the state.
Texas.
Oh yeah, so this is good beer then. Oh, yeah, this is delicious stuff.
That one night in Houston. Remember that? And we got playing ring toss or the ring swinging.
We went to West Alabama Ice House.
That's what it was. Yes. And we had those bomb tacos. The first time I ever had lengua.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh, man, that life-changing. For anybody who's never had lengua,
Lengua tacos.
Go
Yeah, tacos. Yeah.
eat it.
Amazing, right?
I mean, it's cow tongue, so it sounds weird,
wild.
But, man, it is
Okay,
wonderful.
so Lone Star Original Beer is probably one of the greatest beers ever.
Cheers.
We used to get cases of this in high school for, cheers. Yeah.
In high school, huh?
Yeah, so obviously it is for the state of Texas. It was made there.
I mean, naturally. It's called Lone Star. I would hope so. Yeah, this is a Virginian beer. Wait, what?
It was one of those beers that you would start your night with, because if you could put 3 or 4 of these down, after that anything went. You could then drink just about anything. Yeah, so you could probably get a 24-pack of this of cans for, I'm gonna say $8, maybe under $8.
What?
I'm not even kidding to you. Hammered drunk all the time. So this beer is definitely hits my heart very hard. Thank you for finding this. Where did you find this? And
I actually, after we talked, I looked up places to go and find this, and I sought it out.
wow,
Yeah.
quite amazing.
Dude, for you, man. Come on.
That night though, so Houston, Texas. I have had some wild times there. Well, for one, I've 3 of the wildest people I know live in Houston. Maybe 4. Probably 10.
Did Neil come out that night?
Oh, I'm sure. Neil always comes out every night. The thing about Houston is it's really just full. It's a giant city, so you're there's anything you want to do. Anything. But I loved going to that West Alabama Ice House. So like coming home from the road, those are those things that it's like mowing the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about that earlier. People really need that, I think, when you tour, or like if you have a job like that you're always just commuting, you're always in an airplane, or you're always there. You have to be able to go somewhere and just unwind, whether it be your yard or whether it be something. And I feel like it is outdoorsy, though. It draws you out there. Well, it is an outdoors place. Like, you wouldn't know, like, because you're enclosed by, a couple fences and stuff like that. But there's something about drinking beer outdoors that really is, like, just, like,
it's just pleasant.
Yeah, that's why tailgating's fun. That's why, like...
But I also feel that's why people pick out their spots in every city, And it's like, all right, we can go back to this spot and, like, we know what's going on. We've been here before. Yeah. We know the people sometimes, and it turns into that home away from home kind of thing,
100%. And you find those, like, meals, too. Like, right there, you said it perfectly. You had lengua, like, that wasn't my go-to, but it's a good taco.
Mm-hmm.
The people that ran that taco stand, that lady from Mexico must have been the sweetest old lady I've met in my life, but I don't think she spoke a lick of English. But her food was fun, and it never changed. It was always the same quality. And drunk or sober,
it's amazing either way.
I'm gonna tell you this one time, and I didn't live close to there either. So maybe when we were on tour and we went there, we weren't far. So maybe it was like a 10-minute, drive or something like that. When I would fly in, I lived on the north side, so I was easily, in traffic, it could have been 4 hours or 45 minutes. It just all depended. You never knew what you were getting into. I think I ate there one time 3 days in a row. I don't even think one of the times or two. Maybe it was like, I think I was so hungover that I just I found a way to get down there. Maybe I drove. I don't remember. But, dude, best tacos, still, in my opinion, maybe top 3. And I come from El Paso, Texas, where there's a lot of good tacos.
Yeah, there's a lot of good tacos in Texas in general.
I mean, I think maybe it's hard to say because, like, I have so many friends that are Mexican, and they're like, well, now you got to go here, now you got to go here. But then, like, I feel like my really, really true Mexican friends are like, you got to have my mom's tacos.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Well, everybody's got their favorite tacos,
Yeah. So Houston, Texas that night. We went out, we drank Lone Star, we were outside. Did I take you anywhere else?
In Houston?
Yeah.
No, because I think I was playing disc golf that day, and then we went out that night. And I think you and Rachel...
Oh, we continued on.
You were already hanging out in the day, and then I met up with you guys.
Yeah, we went to bottle service day, I think. Or that was the day before.
Man, some of those nights had all blazed together.
Yeah, there was
You're not talking about Pittsburgh, are you? Cigar bar.
No, that was another wild night. There was no Lone Star there, but there was a lot of Macallan, I think.
Yes. Wasn't it Macallan 12 we drank them out of?
Yeah. Well, that was my thing on touring is, like, I always, like, tried to tell myself I was sober. Like, oh, I'm not drinking this tour. But for some reason, like, once a week I would, or maybe not once a week, but, like, maybe every couple of weeks I'd find a way to go out and just annihilate myself. And it always happened around, like, well, again, good company makes it easier. And then you're like, oh, I'll have one bevy.
Well, and it was like, all right, Phil's coming out. Let's go. It's time to go.
Time to turn it up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But again, it was I think all those places that I wanted to tear it up or go out were, again, that place that you had said it was like I knew the city, I'd been there before, and I just wanted to go back because it was getting me out of whatever hotel I was in, or it was getting me out of whatever bus ride I was on.
It was the mow in the yard of the tour.
That's a really good way to look at it. It was the mowing the lawn of touring. Yeah, going and having a bevy with your friends is literally like, yeah, you're in your backyard with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought about it that way. It's a very good point. Cheers to that, my friend.
Cheers.
But that is what I think going back now to having a yard and wanting to do something in the yard, that's exactly it. I don't have touring anymore, which is fine. I have a family now. I have a kid.
You're liking being off the road?
Oh, I'm loving it. I was always scared to be off the road.
Yeah. How many years did you tour?
I was in the music business for 15 total, 16 total.
But that wasn't all touring, right? Because you were teaching for some
not
of
like
that.
like not big tours. Like I would do like these little regional like one-offs where I'd go and fly here for a little while, or I'd get in a van and drive down to here. But A market touring like 12 years, 11 years, somewhere right on there. But
that's sizable.
Yeah, and I really honestly thought I would go the distance.
Mm-hmm.
If the pandemic had never hit, I would have gone the distance. Yeah. I would have retired at 79. I would have rolled out of my top bunk, literally rolled out of it and fallen.
My hip.
Yeah, my hip. I would have said probably something really, like oh, this road life is killing me or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
Something very like
it's giving me gray hairs.
Yeah, like something very jaded, but I think I was already kind of getting there. So when I flew back in March, the pandemic hit. As my tours, because I had a few one-offs lined up, and I saw them like canceling off my radar. I was like, oh wow, okay, well maybe I have some time at home. Maybe I'll just enjoy it. And I did. I really didn't worry about work for the first time in my life. I just said, well, everybody's out of work. It's not like I suck at touring now,
right.
And all of a sudden I don't have the ability to hold on 1 second.
Yeah. That's what Post is for, right? Probably going to listen to this later when Phil's doing dad things. Being a great dad out there. Shout out to all the dads. Look at you being a good dad.
Sorry, my kid was running up and down the hall chasing the cat. I'm just kidding. He's 3 months old. He can't run yet.
Your little cat has gotten so big.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while since I've seen him.
Yeah. Yeah, so, all right, sorry to interrupt that. Holy cow, look at that caterpillar. Again, dude, outside is wild. Yeah, coming home from touring, though, like, I was already, I think, on the way out. So, I'm really enjoying this. I don't have a mower, though, to answer your question from about an hour ago. I do want one, though. I mean, I know that you have one, right, at your lovely estate.
I went full on. I bought the Zero Turn because my full intention is to food-scape out my yard.
Gotcha.
And so there'll be a lot of things in the yard that I'll have to mow around, Mm-hmm. I'm like, it just makes sense to get a Zero Turn now and not have to. Cheap is expensive,
Yeah, you might as well go. You have the barn too. It's a lovely barn.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so you're now here. You're touring. It's 2020. The world is shut down. You're at your place, right? You had already bought the spot?
I bought it in August
of 19.
20.
During the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Where were you living? You were in Pennsylvania all the way through the pandemic, or through some of it?
No, I was in that apartment over.
That's right.
Up in Hendersonville.
Yeah, the apartment with the spiders.
Yes, yeah, the brown recluse infestation. Yeah, man, I caught like 20 of those in one night.
Isn't that wild?
Like, oh, geez, I might need to move.
Yeah, an exterminator explained to me that like if you see one a week, or like even if you saw one a day, that's not bad. But if you're killing 20,
yeah,
you got it. Yeah, there's something deeper there.
Well, and it's funny too because they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we totally sprayed in the apartment complex, and like, don't worry about it, no worries." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I've got 20 of them on this sticky trap back here, so
under my bed."
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, well, like only 30% of people are allergic to them. You're like, again, I don't really care about the stats. I don't really want a spider crawling through my.
That did help me though, knowing that like most likely I'm not going to go into necrosis.
True.
Because that is nasty.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen pictures of that?
Oh yeah, looks like a gunshot.
Dude, yeah, like an infected gunshot.
I never toured with this guy, but I used to work with him at Hard Rock Live. He got bit on one knee and like rolled over and it bit him on the other knee. And I mean, it was bad, dude. He had his knees wrapped. I never saw his personally. I'd seen another person's prior to that, and I was like, "What's a brown?" Because I come from the Southwest, so like to me, the Black Widow is always the gross one, the nasty, mean one.
Right.
No, there's a whole nother ball game here. This little thing is crazy.
Imagine what the Australians have to deal with, though. Like on that note, like yeah, I grew up thinking, oh yeah, Black Widows were like the worst. And then I realized about brown recluses.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a whole different ball game there.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see stuff. Did
you see any gnarly reptiles?
No. I think you had to kind of go out kind of far into
down the outback.
Yeah, the outback. I'll ask. We have a couple friends, right? I'll ask them like where I got to go next time. I went to a zoo in Australia last time I was there, and it was.
Where they have elk?
They have these flying bats that just came out of the trees.
Ah, the little marsupial.
It was wild.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It was pretty cool, though. I was like, all right, hey bats. It was it was like early morning right before.
So they set up like butterfly pavilion where they come and land on your shoulder and like.
No. This was, I think, like said, do not feed the bats. But yeah, no, like outdoors is wild. Like living out here, like. I think because the city destroys stuff, like just because you're building roads and you're building structures and you're building McDonald's and all those fun places, some of that stuff gets pushed out, right? So it's like my city friend might not have sap falling from their tree because the tree just doesn't produce the amount of sap because it's not next to another tree and they're not competing in this sap off now, right? They're not like just like I'm going to produce more. Yeah, like I'm going to produce more sap than you, bro. Now I have like 40 trees out here. And
they're all competing.
Now they're all competing to be the lead tree in my yard. And it happens to be the one right by my 2 white cars. So, of course, it's like naturally like just soaked in like droplets of sap.
It's funny. My parents came to visit from San Diego for my birthday the other weekend and took them kayaking.
Yeah.
They were like, we've been whitewater rafting and stuff out in Colorado and, done all that stuff. But they were like, man, it's wild just being out and floating around on this lazy river, seeing the turtles, all the cranes and stuff.
Right?
They're like, they don't get any of that,
It's crazy. There's a lot of stuff around here. I mean, you can probably hear it, some of it bleeding into the microphones. But I mean, we've had like, 2 giant caterpillars walk past?
Oh, at least.
And that's the thing, again, I don't know how different it is from, like, this yard to that yard, but I'm assured that it's very different from this yard all the way to downtown on what people have to experience. Like, again, the whole spider thing. Out here, the first time, like, I've come through this town, I don't know how many times, and I've never thought about a spider in my hotel room, or I've never thought, maybe bed bugs.
Yeah. Thank God I've never had those.
But yeah, I've never had to burn all my clothes out on shore.
Seriously.
But coming out here, all of a sudden, it was like the first time I had truly seen a brown recluse blew my mind. And then to know that my house had a bunch of them, I was like, what?
Did you have them here?
Oh, yeah. We had tons of them. And we had to like do this special treatment up in the attic. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Did you bomb it?
We had to we were already low on insulation. Again, homeowner problems, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
The guy's like, hey, by the way, you're low on your insulation in your roof. I'm like,
how does that happen?
I don't go up there, so it doesn't matter. He's like, yeah, but it plays.
It does.
Okay. All right. So, so then he sells me. Actually, I think I was out of town, so he sold my wife, or maybe my girlfriend at the time. I think she was my girlfriend at the time. But he sold her on the idea that we needed this like special insulation. So we were already low. And then the guy's like, hey, I got this killer insulation that'll kill. Well, it doesn't kill brown recluses.
Literally killer insulation. It's not just a figuratively.
Literally kill. But the best part was he was like, oh, you have a brown recluse? I have a solution. I was like, oh, sweet. What is it? And he's like, well, this insulation, this killer insulation. I was like, oh, does it kill them? He goes, oh, no, it doesn't kill them. I'm like,
then
well,
what?
then why? And he goes, well, it kills their food. I said,
so then they just starve.
so then they come downstairs to look for food.
Yeah.
He's like, well, no, then they kind of slowly go away. And that, okay, I'm not going to say that it was 100%, but I definitely have seen less. And I think it's been like, because I guess you can't spray and then have them, like a normal insect would walk through it and their belly potentially would rub on and then they would eat it and die. I guess brown recluses, from my understanding, and again, this is all someone telling me this. So all my insect friends out there, if you do have a comment and you do know it better than I do, just drop a comment, please.
I'd love to know too, please.
But supposedly they don't eat like normal insects or spiders or arachnophobes or whatever the term is. So they don't like, the poison doesn't get into them because they like crawl on their tippy toes.
Huh.
So
it's gross.
Wild, right? So I guess the insulation works. But again, living out here Are
there any predators to brown recluses?
I think if again, don't quote me on this. The mud wasp eats spiders.
Okay, well that's not very much more helpful. Because I was thinking, like, in my garden we had these like Japanese beetles that were eating my leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Broccoli, kale, cauliflower, all shot. Just completely devoured by these stupid little beetles. And I was looking into remedies.
Yeah.
And you can release praying mantis into your garden and lead them up.
I mean, there's all these different being out here in the land, again, or you're out in the land and you're truly doing some like wild stuff. Like you're growing. Nate brought me a zucchini the size of my leg. I mean, it was giant. I was pretty impressed. Steroids?
Yeah, we inject it every day, every morning at 9:00.
Give it a little pre-workout.
Yeah,
get it out in the gym.
Then the steroid shot, and then we go lift.
Yeah. You got to make them lift.
Yeah.
You can't get big zucchinis without lifting.
Swole.
But that's the trick, though. I think that there's like, I was trying to kill some ants, and someone was like, well, you shouldn't use pesticides. And this was at a Home Depot. The dude was like, legit, like,
it works better than pesticides.
Well, that's what he said. He
remedies.
Goes, I wouldn't buy that. And I said, really? Well, thank you. He goes, not that none of these don't work. He goes, the problem is, though, is that if you do the other ways, it'll last longer.
Well, you have to keep up on like the sprays and stuff.
Well, that's again.
Versus if you just, hey, praying mantis, go eat.
Yeah.
They're there. And they're eating, they're loving it, and they're thriving.
They don't want a zucchini. They want the bug.
Exactly.
They're going after some protein.
Mm-hmm. They're really trying to get swole.
Yeah. So you buy this place. You buy this place. You're buying this place in hopes of making some swole prey mantises. You're like feeding a little army out there. But okay, so you buy this place, and I remember going to see it for the first time, and I was like, wow. I mean, well, for one thing, it was kind of a little bit further than I expected. But then I was like, wait, this is perfect, though. You're away.
It is exactly what I needed. It's away, and it's only like 30 minutes into town, so it's really not like that bad or anything, you know.
But you were still planning on touring.
At that point, yes.
Yeah, so this was your mowing the grass moment. This was your, like, I'm going to go out, mow the grass at my ranch, little house.
Well, the other thing is, like,
town.
Dude, it makes so much sense to buy real estate and have your money go somewhere. Yeah. Like, renting for so long, I was just like, man, I'm just throwing money at nothing. Yeah. It's going to the wind, you know? Yeah. Like, man, I would love to, like, make an investment. And for whatever reason, well, actually, it was a crazy ex-girlfriend that I was with at the time.
True.
She was like, hey, there was this house that just opened up for sale, like, right down the street. Like, you should go look at it. And I was like, all right, like, I'll go look at it. And it was, like, terrible. But so it sort of turned into me actually legitimately considering making that investment.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, I just felt it. The time was there, you know, and
yeah,
it sprung on it. And I can't even believe it. I got such a great deal. I'm so thankful because now, since the housing market's been insane, in Nashville.
True.
So it really was just perfect. I'm so
And you're,
happy.
do it now rather than later too. I mean, like you don't want to be
Carpe them diems,
You don't
man.
want to be like me, old man buying first house after all this time on the road. No, but it's true
Pros
though. I
and
mean,
cons, man.
if there was like I used to throw money just basically into a toilet every night. Like it was literally like I might as well have done that or just taken it and thrown it out a bus window most of the time because all I was doing was buying booze, drugs, or more booze.
Oh yeah,
or food.
mm-hmm.
And again, okay, the food part, true, that kept me alive, but I got free food the next day. I could have like not gone and spent the $1,000 on whatever outrageous bougie meal I was
the big
doing.
old steak, the bone in.
I've eaten. No.
What was that? 32 ounce.
I've had some 40 ouncers in my day. I think that one was up there like 38-ish up in Pittsburgh at the. I forget the name of that place. Like,
remember that waitress was like, "Man, I've never seen anybody do that. Like only really big dudes do that."
I tried.
You can
that
put
one
it down.
That
man.
one was.
I was
hard.
impressed.
Well, I'm waiting again. I'm waiting for my neighbors across the street. Like they have a farm, that little deal, and they're doing cattle now. So
dude, don't tell Jamie. She's been trying to convince me to get a cow.
You should.
No, I'm like, do you know how much work a cow? We just got a puppy, dude.
You should.
Dude,
it's okay. The puppy will herd the cow. The one
that
cow.
would be hilarious, actually, because she's like a little corgi collie mix.
Yeah,
she'd be this little like
that's why the queen
1 foot tall, running around the cows.
Yeah, that's why the queen has corgis because she just has a herd of cattle out back. Are they a herd or is it a lot? What
for cows?
Yeah,
I think it's a herd.
I would assume herd,
but you never know. I guess geese are like a gaggle, right?
Murder is crows.
Yeah.
All right, so now, okay, so you're gonna add so let's talk about this farm you have. So what are you growing on there?
So,
what was the first one you had? Sorry, what was the first one you had?
From the start, I've always loved growing tomatoes.
Okay.
Tomatoes are just really fun to grow, and they smell really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever smelled like a tomato leaf, but Jamie has that candle business.
Yeah.
She made a tomato leaf candle.
Interesting.
Awesome.
I'll take one.
So, yeah.
I'll buy one. How about that?
That'd be great.
Yeah. Support local business. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So, tomatoes were kind of one of the staples we knew we wanted. Definitely wanted squash and zucchini. We got strawberries going. We started to do some beans and stuff. We're sort of figuring out the trellising still because you have to set up trellises so that it works with the sun.
Okay.
And so it's a fair bit of planning and like just setting up this garden in general and like building the raised beds and doing all that stuff. It's a lot of work. But
once it's set though, then it's just like a maintaining function, right? You're just like every season you go out and do a certain task, right?
Well, and so there's like there's an idea in gardening called like cyclical planting.
Okay.
Where, all right, I'm got tomatoes in this bed this year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next cycle of that bed will be like alfalfa to take nitrogen and put it back into the soil.
Interesting.
So like then after the alfalfa comes out, like I'll put that in my compost and then use that compost to fertilize other beds and, make the soil more fertile.
Very cool.
But then when I put another plant into that soil after the alfalfa, I won't really need to fertilize because it will have done the fertilizing for me just based on what it's pulling from the sun and all the nutrients that it's giving to the soil. So there's always a give and take.
So like let's say one of our friends that lives in like an apartment in the city asked you like, hey dude, I just want to grow some tomatoes. Could they do that same process in a smaller environment? But would they have to generate their own light?
Yeah. Well, so I got a little grow tent for my seedlings. And so we germinate all our seedlings from a light. And then from there, because you can't just put all that stuff immediately out in the garden beds. Like it has to be somewhat of an established plant to go outside in case of like heavy rains or a really hot day, they'll just wipe it out. So like for somebody that would be gardening like in an apartment, I would recommend getting a light because you can replicate all the things you need. And the other crazy thing too is you can use like technology that we are like around in the entertainment industry, like DMX lighting, for example, changing the color tones for the lights to replicate what the sun is doing per the season. Like because the sun will get more intense and less, and
so you're using different lumens or different.
It's more color
shading?
Temperature.
Okay, color temperature. All right.
Yeah. So
you're talking TV talk now.
Dude, it's wild. Like the science is so cool, and I feel like I've just breaching the surface of all this stuff, and it's just like blowing my mind,
But that's the thing, though, is I think that a lot of people, just in general, would like to eat healthier, and I think they're always under the assumption like, oh, well, I need 2, 3, 4, 10 acres, but that's not the case. So you just need to take the steps, right? So you just need to germinate the seed properly.
Well, the other thing is a lot of the plants that like are really enjoyed are perennials. So like,
what's a perennial?
They come back every year.
Ah.
So like asparagus, for example, it grows in a crown. Is what it's called. So you grow this asparagus, and it makes like a bulb, almost like a flower bulb.
Yeah.
From there, that's where all the asparagus grows, and that bulb for crown, it just gets bigger and bigger over the years.
Oh wow!
And so you
get more asparagus.
Yep. Strawberries are the same way. You plant them, and they go.
I mean, at this point, I really kind of because like I've seen a bulb, but it was always tulips. But tulips didn't do crap for me as a kid.
Well, that's the idea behind food-scapes. Everything in your yard would serve you some purpose.
Okay.
And then all you have to do is walk out into your backyard, pick some oregano for your pasta sauce, and off you're running.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a really cool. Again, being hippie or non-hippie or whatever, nature, whatever.
However you label it,
I think that it's just a good all-around healthy way of eating because you're not getting all the preservatives. You're not like. The laundry list of things that go into your body already, especially if you're, a beer drinking, cigarette smoking, take a little.
I quit cigarettes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Dude, year and a half now.
That's amazing. You probably saved a lot of money too.
It's like the best thing I've ever done for myself.
Yeah, because smoking's not good.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's fun.
It's time consuming.
It's really nice, but
I mean, I always did it just because of the stress relief. But what's funny is like after like heavy tours of smoking, I wouldn't smoke for like a little while, and I would find myself eating more veggies. Because I don't know if my body just was like, "Yo, dude, we need to get you like back to normal." Or
get
something.
A reset in here, man.
Because I smoked at a younger age, heavier and more like as a habit. On tour, I smoked, I think, as a stress reliever.
Oh yeah,
like,
me too.
Or just out of like,
hey, you need a break from running cables. Get outside, see the sun for 5 minutes.
Well, that was it. Yeah, like
that.
Let's think about it. You're in these like concrete buildings with no windows. Like it was really more like, well, if my boss is gonna go have a cigarette, I'm gonna go have a cigarette with him.
Oh, dude, I always remember the times we'd go out and we'd just like, all right, it's time for a smoke. We gotta.
And well, when I shouldn't say this because obviously there's a lot of other touring people who are still touring that have been doing it way longer than me and all those other things. But I still remember being able to smoke in buildings,
Old Hydro.
Oh, man. I love him. I see him.
Try and make me stop.
He wasn't the only one. I've seen a few.
He never did, man.
I've seen a few old guys. Yeah, you can just set that on the ground over there. I've seen a few old guys tell people to just straight up, no, it's happening.
Yeah.
You can come. You and your little security badge can, I can tell you exactly where to go. But I think that there's something to be said about a lot of, I mean, I know a lot of people have quit smoking. A lot of people quit drinking.
I think a lot of people, especially like post-pandemic, have kind of come to some realizations that it's like,
want to get healthier.
Yeah. Because it's really easy to fall into the traps on tour of like,
yeah. Would you say really, that having a farm's made you healthier?
Yeah, but I think it's more of my attitude towards it all, and like trying to pursue a healthy life
Mm-hmm.
rather than just the fact of having plants makes me healthier. You know what I mean?
You're not just saying it just to say it to go and brag about it. You're actually like living the lifestyle. And
Yeah.
saying, like, hey.
And it's a process too, you know. I'm not like,
But it's educational, right?
oh.
Like, it's a lot of learning.
It's so awesome in that regard. Because, I mean, this year we learned so much. Like, we tried to trellis watermelons this year.
Okay.
Watermelons are a very viney plant.
Yeah.
But they really like to re-root off of the vine shoots. So we got like 1 melon per plant.
Okay.
And it was like, man, we need to put these on the ground, you know, and
Yeah.
and then we'll get more stuff out of it.
The melons belong on the ground.
The melons, they belong on the ground.
They do. My grandpa used to have a small, I think he honestly ate everything out of his garden. He had lettuce and everything. But yeah, I would always see his watermelon on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, the thing we were trying to do is save space by trellising them, you know? And so, like, you can, because they are a large plant.
Very large.
Very, very expansive.
They want to go. Once they start, they just want to keep moving.
Yes. So that was our theory, and it turned out to be a kind of failure. But we learned, and that's...
So it wasn't a failure.
No. So yeah, man, it's just been so fun, like, figuring out how to do all this and, like, what are our needs? Because, like, dude, we planted 6 cucumber plants. Mid-season, we were just like, we have cucumbers coming out of our ears right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't tell you how many jars of pickles we have.
You need 1 cucumber plant and it could feed a town.
I know, exactly. So, you know, it's the learning process of how many plants.
Yeah.
So then we get the amount of harvest that we want, you know, and we're not like, whoa, what do we do with all these cucumbers?
Yeah, well, like, I mean, there's only so many things you can do with a cucumber too, right? You can only
really got into Greek food, man.
like,
Tzatziki sauce.
Yeah, like I put them on my eyes every night at
right.
10. But like
we just threw them at my neighbor, man.
Yeah, well, that's why like a cornfield is a cornfield. You don't drive by and you're like, wow, look at that awesome cucumber field. You know, it's like because the corn, I think, like would be one of those ones where you could do multiple different things with it. Cucumber, you're kind of stranded to 4 items, right?
I mean,
you can cook it every day, but I mean, like corn, you can make tortillas. You can do, I mean, corn chips.
But that's also
chips,
about
right?
the culture that we live in, right? Of like, hey, we use corn for a lot of stuff.
We do.
I was reading the other day, sweet potatoes. You can eat the leaves.
Interesting.
We don't in our culture.
Okay. What culture does eat them?
Like a lot of Asian cultures.
Ah, okay then.
So it was kind of one of those like...
So it's not just like a garnish, right, on the side that makes it look nice?
No, it's like a lettuce sort of thing, you know?
Interesting.
So it's a whole, you know, like, all right. What can we really do with our means?
Yeah,
here,
okay.
know?
Well, then I think that right now that's a perfect time because, like, well, again, the more you can just walk out to your yard and pick something up and go eat it, like whether it be seasonal or not, you're like, hey, for the next 3 months, we're going to eat cucumbers and tomatoes.
And it's way better, too. When you pick it fresh, I've never had.
Yeah. Do you have okra?
Nope, no okra yet.
Okay. Fried okra? Are you going to go with the fried okra tree? Or?
You know, I've never really grown up with okra. And so I've never...
It's a southern thing, I think.
Yeah, totally. And I've had it like once, maybe.
Okay, I was also in that same boat. Well, you know, growing up in El Paso, we're right below you. Colorado's, you know, you're right there.
Right.
I never heard of okra.
Really?
No, but then the first time I had fried okra, I was like, all right, I don't know what this is. It's interesting, but I'll keep eating it because I kind of dig it. Then I had pickled okra. Spicy pickled okra blew my mind.
Really?
Yeah, and it was one of those ones too where I kept looking at it and someone's like, just try it, it's really good. And I was like, yeah, but look at it. It looks like a witch's finger that like
how funny
stuck in a pencil sharpener, you know?
Isn't that so funny though? Because when I was in Saudi Arabia, they served us pigeon. And I didn't know any better. You know, it looks like chicken.
It does
I'm
look
like,
like chicken.
all right, nom nom nom.
White
and,
meat.
Dude, they were like, yeah, that's pigeon. And I was like, I wonder if I'd known that it was pigeon before I ate it, if I would have a different perception on it.
100%.
But I kind of liked it.
Frog legs, same thing.
Never had those.
Same thing. It's just a white.
The jumping in the pan is kind of a.
I didn't
don't know
see
if
them.
I could get
I didn't
past
see them
that.
cook it, but again, it's like all those different fruits too. It's like there we go. We're saying that we can't. Like, well, again, as long as you're educated and you're like, oh, I can eat that. Let me think about a way to make it go into my food, right? Like, look, I'm a ranch fan. I love ranch dressing. But if someone like is like, yo, you can't just eat iceberg, shredded cheese, bacon, and red onions and ranch as a salad.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well,
why not?
Tell me what I can eat then that's different. But again, then the majority of people will go like, oh, well, you should try romaine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be their next step. And then like someone would probably be like, yo, kale's pretty good. And then someone
Spinach
after that
is
would
the
be,
best leafy green for
well,
me.
yeah, and then of course there's always the team spinach.
Mm-hmm.
But no one's gonna come at you and be like, "Yo, sweet potato, have you tried vinaigrette, sweet potato leaf, and okra?" You'd be like, "What? No, is that even a thing? Where? Why? Like, what restaurant did you eat at last night?"
But the thing is, why not?
Well, what? But unless you know, you don't know.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the cool things that you have going on for you is that you have a chance to educate people through gardening. You know, it's like think about like the education that you can teach young Nate one day. And I think that those are the cultural things that are really cool is because it's like you're not just teaching him what you grew up with only for him to grow up with what you grew up with. You're like, no, let's expand our minds. Let's like say, okay, let's try this Asian dish or let's try this Saudi Arabian dish or let's try this because people are clearly eating it around the world and not dying.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like a poison. So let's
right.
But again, there are poisonous leaves out there, so you can't just go in the backyard and say like, all right, let's pick some grass and eat it. Like,
yeah, but it is cool in that aspect because like I was playing disc golf the other day and there was a berry tree on the course and we looked it up and it was like, oh, that's edible.
Yeah.
And I tried a berry and it was like a cherry blueberry mix.
Okay.
And it was amazing. And I was like, man, this is so cool that we're in a position to do that kind of stuff,
Well, and just think about the technology you have at your fingertips too. You're like, how do I grow this?
Yes.
How do I again?
It's almost overwhelming at first because it's like, dude, there's so many plants, so many things that each of the different plants like and need, and and it's when you first start out, it's a little bit like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information.
100%. Like, let's use the internet for good. Like, I mean, not saying that, like, people use it for
not
complete
just
badness.
Trolling.
Yeah, trolling people on, like, whatever. But let's go the distance and say, like, all right, cool. Hey, I'm out playing disc golf, which is still amazing to me that you can throw that thing that far.
It's because my dad, man.
You got it from your dad.
I got it from my dad. He taught me to play from a very, very... I think I was like 4 when I first started playing.
Yeah, but now you're on a course, right? You're not 4 anymore. You're like 20.
12.
You look 12 still, but so now you're out
just
here on the course.
25 actually. I've reached the quarter of my life, more or less.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, you hit the quarter. That's a good age though. But that's a great thing though, is that now you're 25. You're still engaging in knowledge, right? So if you were 25,
well, I would hope that. How old are you now?
I stopped reading. I stopped doing everything.
Stop engaging in knowledge?
I stopped everything. Whatever I don't know now, I'm done. That's it. I've reached my pinnacle.
What are you now? In 50, Dad 50?
So I always used to say higher ages because then people would be like, dang, you look good for 45, right? I'd be like, I know, right? It's part of my life. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, chicken nuggets, Red Bull, and bacon every day. And they're like, wow. I'm going to get on that diet. I'm like, don't. You're going to die.
What was the one diet you'd always be on?
Goldfish.
Keto?
Oh, yeah. I did. I still...
Butter and meats.
Dude, watching people's faces when I did that for the first time, they're like,
God.
Well, no, it wasn't even the butter and meats that tripped people out. It was the bacon cream cheese sandwiches that people would be like, they're like, you're going to give yourself a heart attack. Then, right? Wait, hold on. 2 years later, one of the Kardashians did it, and now it's like published in all these. Everybody does it, right? So
you saw the whole Slayer kill the Kardashians, and man,
look, hey,
screw all that.
I give them their props only because look, whatever they did it.
Yeah,
and hey,
do your thing.
Do your thing, right?
For
hey,
sure.
Good on them for doing whatever they did. But when no one believed me that cream cheese and bacon, well, for one, it's delicious. For two, that I could lose weight on it, and then someone else did it, obviously, because they were way more famous than I was, and then everyone's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So again, I think it's all like you have a chance to change a small demographic, right? Let's just think about it that way. Like
food-scaping,
like food and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like that can still be a giant impact, whether you reach 10 people or whether you reach 1 billion people. So I do think that education on all platforms is good. It's just crazy how fast we can educate ourselves, because if you were 25-year-old Nate in 1975,
totally
like your dad's age or whatever, when he was throwing the disc 795 feet at some disc golf, like now there's disc golf everywhere, right? Or no, no, you're not playing disc golf, right? Yeah, disc golf, right? Yeah, okay. I was thinking frisbee football. Same difference. Not the same difference. Hey, everybody, don't. I don't want any hate.
It is disc golf.
I don't want any hate mail from the disc golf community.
Ricky Wysocki's gonna hit you up. Hey, man.
I'm totally tagging. I'm gonna tag him in. I'm gonna tag him in here. Don't know who he is, but I'm tagging him. But I will say though that your dad walking a course in 1975 would have had to gone to a farmer's almanac or like some sort of crazy other way of learning about that berry, and then even then probably wouldn't have tried it because it would have been one page that told him. You get a chance to look at,
but that's also on the flip side too of like, hey, do you know that the person who's writing this article about these berries knows what they're talking about?
Well, that's why you read multiple articles.
And no, absolutely. But I mean, so many people these days,
don't look at the meme.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, dude, this dude's pointing at a berry on this meme. I think we're good.
We're solid, man. He says we're good. But no, like there's so many people weighing in on different topics.
Yeah.
And, there's a great thing of like, hey, there's so much information, but on the other flip side of it, you got to do your research.
There's so much information.
Yeah. You got to sift through all the...
Well, and I think that's the key, too, because, like, you could write this article here and have perfect success growing 1,000 cucumbers a day.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Bob Johnson in wherever, Seattle, weather's completely different, right?
Right.
He's like, well, I just read Nate's article.
Mm-hmm.
He freaking lied to me. I haven't grown a single cucumber. So I guess, again, it's understanding what you're getting yourself into, because, again, there's a lot of people, I think, in the apartment world or the condo world, because those are popular now. They're bigger than they've been in a while.
The tall skinnies are moving up.
Well, even
everywhere.
The tall skinnies, you don't have a lot of backyard, but it doesn't mean that you still can't go back there and create a whole garden.
Mm-hmm.
So... But it's about learning, reading different articles, because like maybe Billy Bob Johnson learned about your soil, right? But your soil...
that's the basis for all of it. If you know soil, then...
But maybe he needs to read something about the light in wherever he's at, because that's going to help the soil mix with the plant, mix with the... What is it called when a plant breathes?
You mean like photosynthesis?
Yeah.
When it breathes.
They're a living thing.
No, that's when it takes the energy from the sun and converts it to energy.
Yeah, breathing in a way. I mean,
I guess, yeah.
It's like...
You could look at it as breathing.
I mean, it's not like walking down the street.
But it also does breathe oxygen and expel, or breathes CO2 and expels oxygen.
Okay, so yeah, it breathes the opposite way, right?
Yes. And that's the other great thing. Dude,
crazy.
The air is so fresh.
I have to say, living out here, it's quiet and fresh.
Yes.
There's a lot of... I come outside sometimes, I'm like...
So my next thing is going to be bees.
I've heard bees are pretty awesome.
Well, local honey.
Mm-hmm.
really helps allergies.
Ah, yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I don't get bad allergies by any means, but if I could have bees that help the plants,
That help
that then in turn give me local honey
Yeah.
to help my allergies, dude, I'm
winning.
creating a whole ecosystem here.
It's like the movie Biodome. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
It's probably the greatest movie I've ever put my eyes on a TV screen to watch. No, that's a complete lie. It's a hysterically dumb movie, but they go into what is the Biodome out in Arizona and F it up in like a one-night party. But then they end up growing everything back using, photosynthesis and all these like. Yeah, honestly, I probably learned that term from that movie back in like 1995 when it came out or something. Like young Phil watching Biodome with Pauly Shore learned how photosynthesis works,
Young Phil to now, being a dad.
Yeah, it's
what's been the biggest change?
I'll probably get this question a lot on the show just because I'm such a different. Okay, I'm the same Phil.
Yeah.
I still love to rage. I still love to do all that stuff. I don't though. I haven't raged, and I think I raged with Taco Bell and some champs not too long ago, and I was still in bed by 9.
It was a good rage.
It was a great rage. Okay, I have made some wild mistakes in my life. Can never go back and change them, right? I can never go back and I can never do anything different.
No regrets, man.
No regrets. I have it tattooed on me somewhere. Wow, that made a pretty cool sound with your beer bottle there.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to say, you know what I can change and what I've taken from this is all the people I've hurt and all the things I've done wrong to whether it be people, the land, the world, the environment, anything, all that stuff. I see it. I understand it. I'm trying to be better. But what I can do is I can help raise a better kid. That let's be honest. Love is willing the good of someone else or something, right? So maybe I can teach my little one to just be more open to helping or be more willing to learning gardening. Even though I don't know how to garden, maybe I can show him like how to research gardening if he wants. But that's what I've learned. I don't really think that I've changed. I just have a better perspective on who I don't want to be anymore. So, yeah. I mean, being a parent though, I think you're either going to change for the better. You're going to look at yourself and be like, I don't want that little thing to be anything like I was. Like when I realized that he came out and had no tattoos, I was like, oh, cool. He's already not like me. Let me see if I can do something a little bit better than who I was. So getting off the road was a big part of that. It was like, do I miss the road? Sure. There's things I miss about the road, but I didn't get on the road to be like something other than just a party animal. So
right.
That wouldn't be fair to my kid. But all the people who are still out there making a living and doing all that other stuff, like, good on them. Like, I really do think, I hope it all works out for them. I hope the best for them. But it just isn't for me anymore.
There is something to be said about learning through your experiences, though, too. Like when he gets to that age, he's going to rage. Yeah. And he's going to learn from it, hopefully.
He just won't be able to lie as good as I used to lie.
Right, yeah. Get away and... Yeah.
Because I'll be like, no, I'm going to call your bluff, little dude.
Yeah.
He's going to be like...
Been there, done that.
Have you done this? I'll be like, probably.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I mean, that was a fair question, but I think that the same goes for you. It's like, hey, what advice could you give yourself, like, looking at your lifestyle now, from even like 5 years ago? We've always been a big... you and me have always had these like deep conversations, which we could probably go for hours and hours more. Let me just check we're doing pretty good though.
Sweet.
But I think the bigger thing as we wrap up here is like, what advice could you give to yourself, which it would in turn be advice to like younger Nate one day?
To not put limitations on what I think my potential could be. Because, through this whole life shift of coming off the road and the pandemic and all, like, I really realized that there's really, really a lot to life. And there's so much more than you really think at a glance, like it's that for a while I kind of felt pigeonholed almost like, well, I mean, I'm a roadie. What am I going to do if I don't be a roadie,
Yeah.
It's like,
It's a real thought.
It's like, man, there's so much that you can learn and grow with and just work to make the world a better place. And that sounds so hippy-dippy and all that, but it's like, man, nothing is so crazy where it's like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, we've had some conversations of a lot of deep, deep stuff, and
For sure.
it's
But you've grown up too since Hamburg.
Yeah, God. That was probably one of the low points of my entire life.
But reaching deep down, and I mean, like, the darkness is a real place for a lot of people, and I think that
And then building from that.
it's hard for people to understand that you can build from something, though. I think that, and it's like looking at gardening. I mean, I'm all about analogies. I think it always helps me like see the bigger picture, and like, yeah, like you look at like a rock field with some dirty ass dirt, because that's what it is. It's dirt, right? But you're like, I can't grow anything on there. Like, by just saying I can't already puts that limitation. Like, no, like, think about it. Be like, it's just going to take me time to get to raising all those watermelons or all the cucumbers or whatever you want to, even if it's tulips, right? Like, gardening is a real experience because you have to go through that darkness. You have to go to the deepest part to
and it's
find
persistence too. It's not like, hey,
you're going to fail.
No, it's like, I'm not going to grow a awesome watermelon plant overnight.
No.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And you've got to stay on it.
True.
And it's a process.
So that's kind of what you learn then. Is don't put limitations to you as a person, because like now it seems like you're thriving pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, dude.
Thanks, man.
I mean, I think meeting you the first time, I saw a skinny. I didn't know you played disc things at the time, but you were you wanted to learn, and it was interesting to grow with you because, we've been friends now for a while, and to now look at you have a house. You brought me fresh fruit today and pickles. I love pickles, by the way, so you can bring me pickles anytime.
Sweet.
Spicy pickles next time.
Okay.
You said those peppers are spicy, so spicy pickles. But
ooh, that's a good
idea.
idea. Actually, I haven't thought about that one because I've been thinking about how to use those peppers up.
Yeah,
I took a bite out of one the other day, and it was like, ooh.
You won't.
I did.
But that's the kicker to this whole thing, and it was a great conversation with you, and I loved having you on today because you really have grown as a person. I think not only, well, you're not any taller, but deep down, Nate is different, I can tell. And I think it truly is because you're doing something that you love, whether you go back on the road or whether you do whatever you do, right? Coming home to this place will be that lawn mowing experience that is so much deeper,
100%,
so much more engaging. You have something to look forward to that just isn't a neon light in the distance,
Right.
And that's what I think life is. It's like you have the dog, you have the cat, you have the girl, you have the little farm, whether it be one little section of a little farm, it could be one plant, but you get to come home and make that thing yours. That's pretty dope, dude.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. It's been a really cool journey, from since I met you to where I'm at now. It's definitely,
well, like I wanted to touch on your disc throwing abilities here, but we really didn't, because you taught me a lot about a lot of other things, but we had a good conversation. But I would definitely love to have you back out one day, and you
It'd be
could.
great, man.
I know that I've made fun of you about disc golfing.
No, I'm here for it, man. 100%.
But maybe you can actually enlighten me a little bit deeper than just all my fun.
I'm not too prideful to take a little crap. Come on.
Well, all right. So.
And you were out that one time. You came.
Yeah, it was hot, but that's when I
You
was
were pretty bad.
I was still bougie though, so like I was probably like, where's my fan that sprinkles water?
Where's
on
my Louis
face?"
Vuitton shoulder fan?
I left
You've
that
seen
at
that,
home that
right?
day. Yeah, I left that one at home that day. These disc golfs aren't made from pure leather. This is strange. All right, my friend. So let's wrap it up. Let's say it's been a pleasure having you on. I look forward to hearing more about your garden. I mean, we don't live too far from. I think next time I'll come to you. Actually, that's the kicker. We'll go to your house next time and do a little extra
Sweet.
interview there. How about that?
Perfect.
So we end each show with bottoms up. So if you want to
Cheers.
give me a little cheers. Thanks for bringing out the bevy.
Dude, absolutely. Thanks
Have
for
a
having me
wonderful, wonderful day. And to all my listeners, probably I think I have 5 now.
out.
Hey, it doesn't matter.
Maybe 6.
Maybe 6. Hey, you're 7 with
Hey,
you.
there you go.
Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, leave them for me. Hit me up on my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Even we can make some TikTokers.
For all the kids these days.
I know it's weird. It was
It is
crazy
weird.
doing all this stuff, but it's been fun actually. So, but hey, bottoms up.
Bottoms up, my friend.
Cheers.